And despite the fact that the opinion polls, well, they show very strongly that that would be what would happen if an election was held right now. The headline numbers, which Newspoll have told us a couple of weeks after couple of weeks for a long time, shows that Labor is in the lead, and a commanding one. That apparently the Liberal vote has collapsed in places like Western Australia, South Australia, and also in Victoria, holding up okay in Queensland. But thankfully today, we got another sign that Australians know the difference between the current Prime Minister and the alternative Prime Minister who would lead a rabble that would undermine our country when it comes to national security, let alone anything else. The Essential poll, which is published in The Guardian, it is left-leaning. It shows that yet again Anthony Albanese and Don't Know are in a dead heat right now compared to the preferred Prime Minister of Scott Morrison. That number is down from where it had been just a few months ago, but still. When the alternative Prime Minister is apparently the captain of the team that is thumping in the overall polls, but is level with Don't Know, does that mean that Australia would be willing to gamble at all because they're a little over the way things currently work? I certainly hope not. Now, all day, every day, be it in the newspapers or on telly or just someone whispering in your ear, we keep being told what matters to Australians. Well, thankfully, every now and then there is an actual poll that we can point to about the issues that matter, the issues that will decide the next election. Now, this is the Australia Institute, super lefty institute. Number one issue by a country mile is the economy, followed by health, then apparently climate change. National security apparently only half as important to Australians as climate change. The environment also counts as 5%, so let's imagine you put those two things together. Corruption, inequality, education is apparently 3% and Indigenous disadvantage is 1%. But the main and key issue is the economy. And again, in the Essential poll today, they showed who do you trust when it comes to the economy. This is how the government would win an election. If it's about the economy, they would win the election. The economy will get even better the further we get away from lockdowns. There will be more people in jobs. There will be more money coming into the government. So if it's about the economy, the government will do well. If it's about national security, again, the government is leading, 38-32. But the fact that that's close means people do not understand what I have just told you about Labor's position on China. They're all about manage the relationship, not stand up for Western values. They want the relationship with the United States to be about climate change, not about Western values and standing up to authoritarian China. If health is your thing, surprise, surprise, Labor always leads on that front. But despite the fact that the majority of states are Labor states and their hospital systems have been driven into the ground, but, apparently it's a Liberal problem. And of course, when it comes to climate change, the Liberal Party can put itself in whatever position it wants to for the modern Liberals, but the reality is, on that issue, people trust the Labor Party. So we saw today that the Prime Minister made it very clear where he wants the election to be fought, on the territory that is the number one priority for Australians and the huge advantage to the Liberal Party, the economy. That's why the election in part will be next year, because the economy will get better. We will return to a scenario where more people have a job post-pandemic than pre-pandemic. That doesn't happen by accident. Low interest rates don't happen by accident. That'll be part of the message, and a message that was loud and clear today on the faux campaign trail in Melbourne.
As a Treasurer and as a Prime Minister, I know the one thing that ensures that Australians can rely on the essentials that are provided by governments is a strong economy. If you've got a strong economy, then you can pay for hospitals. If you've got a strong economy, you can pay for schools. You can guarantee the essentials that Australians rely on. And so our focus, my government's focus, has always been on having strong economic management, because that's what underwrites the services that Australians rely on.
That is the message that can win an election.